Hi, in this video I will show you how to write mixed numbers as decimals and how to write decimals as mixed numbers. Let's get started. First of all, you need to know your decimal place value. I'm sure you know your whole number place value, the ones place, the tens place, hundreds, and so on. We also have place value for the digits in a decimal. Let's take this decimal for example, 23.587. The number before the decimal point is the whole number, and we can fix them easily in the place value, in their place values. This is 23 before the decimal point, so 3 is the digits in the ones place, 2 is the digits in the tens place, and here we have the decimal point. Now moving on to the digits in the decimal place. The first digit after the decimal point is the tenths place. The first digit after the decimal point belongs to the tenths place, so we fix 5 right here. The second digit after the decimal point, which is 8, belongs to the hundredth place, so we fix 8 right here. And then the third digit after the decimal point belongs to the thousandth place, we fix 7 right here. So this is the place value for decimals. The place value, the value after the decimal point, is the tenths place. The second digits after the decimal point belongs to the hundredth place, and the third digits after the decimal point belongs to the thousandth place. Okay, so how do we write a fraction or a mixed number as a decimal? There's an easy way to go about this. If your denominator is 10 or 100 or 1,000, it's quite easy if your denominator is one of these. You're going to use your denominator to determine the place value of your numerator and use the number of zeros to determine how many digits you will have after your decimal point. Now if your denominator is 10, that means your numerator, whatever it's going to be, is going to be in the tenths place. And because you have just 1 0 in your denominator, you're going to have just one digit after your decimal point. Let's use 3/10 as an example. Now 3/10 is a fraction. We don't have a whole number, so we don't need this. We don't need to fix anything in the tens or ones place and the whole number's place. So we just go straight to putting our decimal point right here. Okay, let me correct that. It's meant to be a point and not a line. So go ahead to fix our decimal point right here. And then our denominator is 10. Whatever you have here divided by 10. That means the digit in our numerator will be in the tenths place right here, which is 3. So 3/10 as a decimal would be 0.3, which is the same thing as 0.3 because we do not have a whole number. Okay, now let's go to a fraction having 100 as its denominator. Just as the name implies, whatever you have here should be divided by 100, so your numerator will be in the hundredths place. Now let's say we have 27/100 as our fraction, and we need to change this to our decimal. We'll use the same process. We don't have a whole number, so we'll just start with our decimal point, and then the last digit of your numerator will be in the hundredths place. The last digit of your numerator will be in the hundredths place, and then you work backwards from there. So that means 2 would be here. So 27/100 equals 0.27, which is the same thing as 0.3. 0.27. Okay, let's go on to a fraction, or this time around a mixed number having 1,000 as its denominator. Let me put a demarcation here so we get it. So let's say we have 3 whole number 759 over 1,000. So let me clear this off so we can fix that in. Using your place value chart to write this as a decimal, our decimal point still remains here. Now you have a whole number. This whole number needs to be fixed in its place value. Your whole number is 3, and that's in the ones place, so you just fix in your 3 here, and then you deal with your fraction after your decimal point. So your denominator is in the thousands place. That means the last digit of your numerator has to be in the thousandth place. Our last digit in our numerator is 9. Our numerator is 759. The last digit here is 9. So we fix 9 here, and then we work backwards. The digit before 9 is 5. We fix it here. The digit before 5 is 7. We fix it here. And that is our decimal. 3 whole numbers, 759 over 1,000 as a decimal will give you 3.759. Now I need you to take note of something. Here we have 1 0 and we have just 1 digit after the decimal point. Here we have 2 zeros and we have 2 digits after the decimal point. Here we have 3 zeros and we have 3 digits after the decimal point. That's how it works. Okay, so to confirm if your decimal is actually correct, just compare the number of zeros of your denominator to the number of digits you have after the decimal point. That is if your denominator is a 10 or 100 or 1,000. That's how it works. Okay, all right, so let's move on and let's see if you can try out some questions by yourself. So I would like you to do this. 7 over 10, you write 7 over 10 as a decimal. Also write 2 whole number 5 over 1,000 as a decimal. And then the last question for you to try, write 12 whole number 23 over 100 as a decimal. Use your place value chart. It's going to help you. That's the easiest way to go about it. So you can pause the video and work on it. All right, I believe you're done working on your conversion from fractions or mixed numbers to decimals. Let's see how well you did. So let's start with the first one, 7 over 10. We do not have a whole number, so this place is going to be blank, or you can fix in zeros if you want that. So we'll begin with our decimal point. Now our denominator, is 10. That means our numerator will be in the 10th place. Our numerator is 7, so we'll put 7 in the 10th place. So 7 over 10 as a decimal will be 0.7 or 0.7, actually the same thing. Okay, all right, let's move on to the second question. 2 whole number 5 over 1,000. Now this is a mixed number. We have a whole number and we have a fraction with it. So this whole number, we've got to fix it first of all before we move on to our decimal point. 2 belongs to the ones place, so we fix in 2 right here. 2, then we'll put our decimal point before we begin with a fraction. Now our denominator is 1,000, so that means the last digits in our numerator has to be in the thousandths place. Now in this case we have just 1 digit as our numerator, and that 1 digit has to be in the thousandths place because it is 5 divided by 1,000. So we go ahead and put our 5 right here, but we can't leave these 2 spaces blank. Okay, we have to put a digit that will represent the place value here. So all you need to do is put a 0 and a 0, and this is your decimal. And quite tricky a bit. That's how you go about it. So 2 whole number 5 over 1,000 equals 2.7 0.005, and that's it. Now remember what I said, the number of zeros in your denominator should correspond with the number of digits after your decimal point. Here we have 3 zeros in our denominator, 1,000, and look at the number of digits after our decimal point, 1, 2, 3. So this makes you confirm the accuracy of your answer. If we go back to question 1, we have 1 0 in our denominator, 10, just 1 0, and look at the digits, the number of digits after the decimal point, just 1, which is 7. So that's how you know you're on the right path. Now let's work on the last question. We have 12, 23 over 100. 12 whole number, 23 over 100. So 12 is a whole number. We have to fix that in the place value belonging to whole numbers. We have 1 and 2 in 12. So 2 will be in the ones place and 1 will be in the tens place. Then we fix in our decimal point so that we can begin to work on the fraction. Okay, so our denominator here is 100. Whatever you have up here divided by 100. So your numerator will be, the last digit in your numerator will be in the hundredths place. The hundredths place. 23 is our numerator here, and the last digit is 3. So 3 will be in the hundredths place. We fix 3 right here, and we walk backwards. So 2 will be here. Now 12, 23 over 100 as a decimal will be 12.23, and it's as simple as that. Okay, so if you did get everything, congratulations. If you didn't, I hope you found out where you made a mistake, and make sure you don't repeat that same mistake. All right, moving on. These are the different ways to write 2.8. All right, we can write it as a decimal in a place value chart. We can write it in word form, 2 and 8 tenths. We can write it in expanded form, and then write it in standard form as it is. But what about writing it as a mixed number or as a fraction? Now 2.8 will actually be written as a mixed number because we have a non-zero digits before the decimal point. Okay, so that's why it's going to be written as a mixed number. How do you go about writing 2.8 as a mixed number? I'm going to give you 3 steps to follow to write decimals as mixed numbers or fraction, and we're going to apply that to this. First of all, you write out any non-zero digits before the decimal point as a whole number. So any digit you have before the decimal point will be your whole number. In this case, we have a digit, the digits, any non-zero digits, I come again with that. Any non-zero digits before the decimal point should be written out as a whole number. So if you had 0.8, there'll be no need to write a whole number because you have 0. Okay, so it's any non-zero digits before the decimal point that you write as a whole number. 2 is a non-zero digit, so we go ahead and write this as 2 whole number, and then we begin to work with our fraction, which is what we have after the decimal point. What do we have here? 8. So that will be your numerator. The number in the place value will be your numerator, and then the place value itself will be your denominator. Tenths place, 10 will be your denominator. As easy as that. So that's why the place value is very, very important in writing decimals and in writing fractions or mixed numbers, and try to convert from one form to the other. Okay, all right, so let's take a look at some other examples. Looking at this interesting decimal, this decimal is 0.005. okay, so it's written here in the place value chart. So how do we convert this to a fraction or a mixed number? Now, will this be a mixed number? I don't think so, because it has 0 before the decimal point. Remember, mixed numbers will have non-zero digits before the decimal point. If it has 0 as its digit before the decimal point, it's just a fraction. So this will be a fraction without a whole number. It's not a mixed number. So what do we do? 0.005 will be equal to, you write the number after the decimal point. What's the number after the decimal point? It's 5. Yeah, I know you're going to say it's 005. 005 is the same thing as 5, okay? The zeros before the 5 don't count. It's 5. That's when you're turning it to a fraction. 5 over what place does 5 belong to? Thousands place, and that will be your denominator. Okay, so 0.005 equals 5 over 1,000. As simple as that, right? Okay, here you have some questions to try out. Let's see. So you're going to turn this to either a mixed number or a fraction. So this will be 158.85 as your first question. Your second question, 7.07. And your last question, 56.003. So let's work with this and let's see what you get. You can pause the video here and work on your whiteboards with your markers or a paper and your pencil or pen or whatever. All right, here we go. So to help you understand it better, it would be nice to fix it in a place value chart before you write your answers. So our decimal point remains here. What is the number before the decimal point? 158. So we can begin to fix this in the place value chart. Here we have 8 in the ones place, 5 in the tens place, and we have 1 right here. Okay, let me make that neater. We should have a thousands place right here. So 1 in the thousands place. So let's just put CH as 1,000. Okay, and make this part of the table. Okay, so we have 1 right here. 158 is the whole number before the decimal point. And let's fix in the digits after the decimal point. The first digit 8 will belong to the tens place, and 5 will belong to the hundredths place. Now we can write this as a mixed number. It has a whole number before the decimal point, so that whole number will be written here, and then the digits after the decimal point will be written as a fraction. We have 85 over what place does the last digit belong to? Hundredths place, so we are writing over 100. Okay, as simple as that. Now what of this? 7.07. Here you have a non-zero digit before the decimal points. That will be a whole number in the ones place. So your whole number is 7, and then whatever you have after the decimal point will be your fraction. A decimal point is here. 0 will belong to this place, the tenths place, and 7 will belong to the hundredths place. So our fraction after the whole number will be 7. You put the digits as your numerator, and then the place it belongs to as your denominator, the hundredths place. As simple as that. You see, it's still following the rule of the number of digits after the decimal point must be the same as the number of zeros in your denominator. We have 2 digits after the decimal point here. We have 2 zeros here. We have 2 digits after the decimal point here. I know we have a 0 too, but it's 2 digits after the decimal point, and we have 2 zeros in the denominator. That's how it works. So let's turn 56.003 to a mixed number, because we have a whole number before the decimal point. 6 will be here, 5 will be here in the tens place, and that will be our whole number, 56. And then that shouldn't be, we're not turning it back to a decimal, it's in a decimal already. 56, and then put our decimal point right here, not there, and we fit in the digits after the decimal point. This will be 0, 0, and 3. So we'll write the digits. 003 is the same thing as 3, your numerator, and your denominator should be the place value of the last digits. What's the place value of the last digits? 1,000. So that will be 1,000 right here. Okay, and you see the number of zeros in the denominator is the same as the number of digits after the decimal point. That's what will help you confirm the accuracy of your answer. All right, thanks for watching. I believe you now understand how to turn mixed numbers or fractions to decimals, and decimals to fractions or mixed numbers. So we'll see in the next video. Keep on being the best of yourself. Bye for now.